I hear these angst and anxieties of what people are going through. And perhaps we can talk about that later for different issues. And yet, when you say, you know, just one thing, and I'm going to mention this. This is about some other disease, dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay, yeah.
And part of the process with that is that your brain is not getting enough fat that helps to keep everything intact. And you can look it up. Doctors have already discovered where it comes from, but they don't tell you how to heal it.
You know what, Rosa? Doctors have also admitted to the fact cholesterol medication plays a part in drying up the fat in the brain. So go ahead with your next phase. But
so
cholesterol, men, watch it.
Yeah, because they're really even I'm skipping subjects. Even the agriculture department has already discussed, and you can go on their website and see what they say about cholesterol. There is no such thing as unhealthy cholesterol, for real. It does come, it spikes, it goes up, it goes down, it does all of that. But it's nothing they found that it's nothing to be alarmed, because it can change without medication.
Yes, it's manageable.
But let's get back to dementia. I just want to mention this because my heart went out today when I was reading or seeing someone who posted on my page. And it reminded me of what is happening in my own family. And I started looking it up. And because it's not enough fat in your brain that keeps that memory thing going on, doctors have found and discovered that high dosage of vitamin E and fish oils will replace that, and people change. But not a lot of us even want to try that. And when I'm talking about high dosage, I'm talking about 5,000 milligrams or more.
Okay.
So you take it like 4 times a day. That's 20. That's a lot. But
just remember, natural, no such thing as overdose.
Right.
So what do you have to lose? Try for 21 days and see
if it makes a difference.
You see any changes.
So there should not be a complaint. Oh, they won't swallow. Well, a lot of times with those people, with those patients, they forget how to swallow. But you do have soft foods that you feed them. Yes. So you crack the gel, the capsule up. You put it in their food.
Yeah, and you know what? For the omega-3s, you can just pinch a little pinhole in it and drizzle it in their food or over their food. So it's too easy.
And it hurts my heart because we are dying from lack of knowledge. We're dying from lack of action. We're dying because of fear of people who've only been in existence for 100 years. The medical field has only been thriving for 100 years. My grandmother and my great-grandmother used to go to the herb store, the grocery store in the backyard. We had mint growing and all kinds. Come on, herbs. Onions and all kinds of stuff. Come on now. Let's go back. I like that part about what Trump says. Let's go back. Let's go back to the old times. I'm talking about let's go back to the old medical times where you use God's gifts to make things better.
But you know what, Rosa? It is so. I find it a coincidence because was it Saturday evening? I chimed in to eLife Media, and who did I hear? But was it Afro District? Yeah. And they were talking about the same thing. They had 4 or 5 brothers in here, and one young lady.
What do you mean crazy?
And because they were talking about. Yes.
They've shifted their show.
And I said, wow, I need to let them know. And I didn't hear it till after the show, because if I had heard it during the show, I would have called in. Because they were talking about not only what we're talking about, but they kind of also had a little debate going on because, you know, you're African American, you're American. Okay, so some of their philosophy is different. Yeah, okay, yeah. Some of their philosophy is different, but when they were talking about the neighborhood, they couldn't change that. The young man was trying to tell them about gardening, and the other young man chimed in and said, but how many families have time to do that? How many families can afford to do that? When we were talking about healthy eating and how we've shared, to eat healthy doesn't have to be more expensive. So that's the point he was trying to share with them. But then they started saying, well, how many people are going to take the time to do it? No. Everybody that you come across is not lazy and won't take the time to do it.
And it's a progress thing. It's a thing that happens over progress,
Yes.
over time. You know, I remember when I was first diagnosed, I went to the markets. I went to the Saturday markets, and they still have them throughout DC.
Yes.
You know, so, and a lot of times, even when you go up to some of the older markets, like Northeast Market, at the end of the day, they put out groceries that they could not use or sell. And they're free.
And he talked about that because he talked about the greens and the vegetables, and some places you go in some of the stores and it's not green. So they were talking about different places where you could get your fresh produce. But the kicker was what's mainly in our neighborhoods. When he said, if you're going to go to the store and spend X amount of dollars, because say you have $20 and you've got to feed 4 kids, are you going to go to the grocery store and try to feed them right? Or are you going to run to McDonald's and shop off their dollar menu?
Or even not even that. Go to 7-Eleven and pick up all that processed food.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, I will never forget, and this was during my days of hay. She would get $900 or $1,000 worth of food stamps every month. And I think she has maybe about 6 or 7, maybe 8, 9 kids. But before the end of the month, by the middle of the month, she was broke.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And the basic, and I used to tell her, the reason why is that you're not shopping correctly. You $900 spent correctly should feed you and your family for a month if you have 9 kids. Really, it can. But you just have to know how to shop. You have to really shop with a purpose and not just go anywhere and everything.
That is true.
Buy everything.
That is true.
And even with a person like myself, I'm retired, I spend a lot of money at the store, grocery store. I love food. And I do not like to go to my cupboards and have to make do. You know, so I know somebody used to say, I'd rather clothe you than feed you.
Oh, wow. So you have a healthy appetite, huh?
Right, I do, I really do. But let me before we move off of the food topic, I want to pump this.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to pump this
Wild
business,
Tree.
Wild
Yes.
Tree. Okay, so now Wild Tree is a business too. Where can you go grocery shopping for healthy products and get paid for it?
That is true.
Safeway ain't gonna do it. That's what I love.
Businesses.
Right. That's what I love about Wild Tree. I am organic. I am gluten free. I am vegan most of the time, or more vegetables than not, because I still like my meat every once in a blue moon. But when I go to Safeway and to all these markets and stuff, they don't pay me.
That's what I shared in the opening. I'm like, just about everything that I buy or I shop now, I'd rather buy, if I can't buy from myself, then hey, if you're listening, tell me what you're marketing. Because I'd rather buy it from and put it back into the neighborhood, you know what I mean, or a family, than to give it back to a well-off establishment that they're not going to give us anything back for it.
Right.
So
And especially nowadays.
Yes.
Especially nowadays, we have to begin to think of life as a business.
Yes.
You know, if it doesn't put a dime in your pocket, you need to reconsider where you're spending your money.
Exactly. So, I think we've talked about our food.
Oh, yeah.
Please, when we start narrowing in on the date for our freezer meal workshop, then we'll tell you more about Wild Tree and about making those 10 meals in one day, preparing those 10 meals in one day. And it's going to be what you want to prepare. We're just going to provide the atmosphere and the seasonings, but everybody's going to pitch in. It's going to be a workshop, and we're going to be grouped together.
Okay, Tiffany. She's trying to skate around everything. No, before we go anywhere, we have an author in the house. My sister here is an avid writer.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
In this medical health magazine out of Maryland, PG?
Yeah, PG County.
Tell us about it.
Okay. Everyone should be familiar with Prince George's County, Your Health. So for the past 3 months, I've been putting a different article in. So the first article was in October, and I started with non-scale victories. Because as we talk about living a stressless life and living healthy, the last thing we want to see is we're working out and we're changing our diet, but the scale isn't moving. Okay, so those non-scale victories come by way of your clothes, your energy, your memory, all types of things. So that's what the October's article was. November was on seniors still need to move also. Just because you're senior doesn't mean that you no longer move. So we talked about arthritis, we talked about bone and joint health, we talked about fitness and walking and swimming, just different types of activities that you can do to keep it moving.
So you're saying that after I eat, if I just get up off the table, get up out my chair,
yes,
and walk around the block,
mm-hmm,
is a way of moving.
Your steps count because you're elevating your heart rate. And then I also shared ways that if you look at your health care, you may be able to go to the gym for free. Because some healthcare providers are so enthusiastic about you keeping it moving, as Kim would say, right, that they will pay your gym membership. So that was in November's article, but that program is called Healthways, and Silver Sneakers for those that are seniors, 65 and older. But Healthways for those that are still working their 9 to 5. Look into it with your healthcare provider, even HMO, PPO, whatever, to see if they cover it. Because even some private industry, my son's, where did he used to work? Foot Locker. They even offer it. So I was surprised to see some private industries in there too. But this month is on coping with stress. So we talk about meditating, we talk about Tai Chi, we talk about yoga, and we talk about the infamous walking. Just different things to do. And we also talk about the company that you keep.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, coping with stress is in December. So, December is out already, but this was December's edition. Okay,
congratulations,
so now, thank you, ma'am.
I want to also, let's give her a round of applause.
Okay.
I wanted to also say about walking. Mm-hmm. So, I walk 10,000 steps a day.
Yay!
That's my
for the non-sweater,
right, non-sweater. Do it with intention. So for those times when it's raining, you could actually walk up and down your stairs.
Now your heart rate will really elevate taking the steps. Yes.
But there's also an app that you can get on your phone called S Walking or Healthy Walking.
It will
monitor your steps. So you'll know, as long as your phone is in your pocket or your hand or your purse or whatever, it'll mark your steps. But I love it because they give you a